C programming is called mother of all the programming language present in the software industry. And even if you go for an interview, C programming is the most basic and very important aspect which the recruiters are looking for. Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Meghana from Ghante. Today I welcome you to this tutorial session on C programming. In today's tutorial, we shall discuss a very important and crucial concept related to C programming. So without wasting any time, let us quickly get started with our agenda. As you can see on the slide, we shall begin with the brief introduction of C programming where we will be learning about the history and importance of C programming. After that, we'll discuss about tokens, structure of program, followed by a input and output function, preprocessor directive, constant and variables, data type, followed by control statements, loops, pointers, function, escape sequence, and lastly, arrays. Now we'll discuss about the history of a C. As you all know that Dennis Ritchie is a founder of C programming language. Prior to C programming language, we had many other programming languages such as B, Cupil, Haskell and many more which are a machine programming language, which is very difficult to develop Linux operating system. This was a very fine reason Dennis Ritchie founded a C programming language. C is a very user-friendly and very readable language. Now, I'll discuss a few of the features of C programming language. So, it is a high-level programming language. Any language or any programming language is considered as a high-level language if it is written in English. First one is a high-level programming language. Secondly, structured programming language. It reduces our designing time. And next one is a rich library. C has its own library which includes most of the arithmetic and logical operation which are predefined. Predefined which means it is defined already by some person over there. We just have to include a library whatever we need over there. Next one is extensible. Programs written in C are highly extensible. We have a next feature called recursion where we don't have to write a function for multiple times. Instead, whenever we need the function, we just have to call the function. This function reduces development time and later faster execution when compared to other system. Now I'll just show you the structure of C program in the ZNYR.io, which is the official site for the compiler. This is what I was talking about, ZNYR.io, which is the official site for using online compiler. This is the place where I'll be going to show you how to execute a program and how to take the output, how to write the program. Everything will be explained in the platform called ZNYR.io. So before going to a particular program, I'll be explaining you the structure of C program, okay? This is how structure look like. First section is a documentation section. Here you can see the documentation section, right? This is the first section. Here we include a comments. For example, brief description about a program like a author. For example, we are writing a program for addition of two numbers. Then we can write the following in the comment section: author, date, or something like that. I'll show you one example just a second. First, I'll be explaining about description section, right? See here. First, you can write about the author like this: author. Just this is nothing like a compulsion or something. Just I'm explaining about description section. Addition of two number, description I'm writing. Later you can go with the date whenever you are writing the program, that particular date you can write over here. In the documentation section, you can also include a comments, and everything whatever you're writing, you have to include it within the comments. Comment can be written in two types, single line comment and multiple line comment. I'll tell you how to write that everything. See here, first while writing a comment, if you give like this, it is a single line comment, okay, which means a compiler will ignore. Compiler will ignore this line. It will not be included while compiling. Compiler will not convert this particular line into object code. If you want to comment in a multiple line, we have to use this type of comment. As you can see here, multiple line are there. I have taken a date also. So multiple line comment is always done by like this. Asterisk symbol with the this thing over here, forward slash. Asterisk symbol and forward slash. This is how you write a multiple line comment. And this comments will always be ignored by a compiler. Compiler will never include the comments. So these line of comments are not included in the, like while compiling, these comments are not included. Now you may ask me, what is the purpose of writing this thing if a compiler is ignoring this thing? It's a waste of time. You may ask this question. It is written just for understanding, like for future use. For example, if anyone wants to use your program in future and he wants to know what is this program about. For example, I'm showing you about addition of two number program. Think that I'm showing you how to add a two number. We'll take a and we'll take a B and I need to add a two number. But in the future, if someone is using my program, if it is a small program, that's fine. Whenever it comes to very lengthy program, the person whoever is seeing, he might get scared. Oh, what is this long program? So if we give some comment section over above in the documentation section, so that person will be easily he can grasp those things, right? Yeah, that's what I was talking about. If anyone wants to use your program in future and he wants to know what is this program is all about, rather than he looking at a code, he can just figure out using a comment section, which I'll be writing. Here, it's fine as it's an addition. When it comes to 22 or 32 or 50 lines of code or more than this, it will be very helpful. Trust me. This is completely optional, but it is better, but it is always better to include this section. This is called comment section, single line comment and multiple line comment will be there. As I told you, single line will be a writing, you will be writing like this over here. Like this. This is a single line. When it comes to multiple line, you have to write a asterisk symbol followed by a forward slash. Next section, document section is done. Next section is a link section. Here we include header files. I hope you know what is header file. For example, hash include stdio.h is a header file. I'll be showing you in our ZNYR.io platform. Just a second. Over here, you have to write like this, which is a link section. stdio.h, hash include stdio.h. This is like this. And one thing I forgot to tell you, here you have to select the language. I'll be teaching you C language today. So select the C and you can start proceed like this. Hash include stdio.h, which is a header file. stdio.h is a standard input function for printf and scanf. These both are predefined function and these are defined in a stdio.h library, which are already defined. You need to just put it over here. That's it. If you want to include a printf and scanf in your program, then you have to include this header file. Always it's a compulsion. Without using this hash include stdio.h, you cannot use a function called printf and scanf, that is a input and output function. Next function I'll show, next header file I'll show, that is nothing but, I hope you can see my screen, hash include conio.h. Okay, hash include conio.h. This is the next header file. Conio means a console input function. Conio you can see over here. Now it's a console input output function. This is when you use a getch function. Whenever you are using a getch function like this in your program, you are always supposed to use a header file of hash include conio.h. You cannot ever forget that. If without taking the header file of conio.h, if you call the function or if you write the function getch, the program is not gonna work. This is to tell the compiler the meaning of getch. You have to include a conio.h header file. Next, I'll show you. Next header file will be math.h. Hash include math.h. So this is when you use a math function. Here, in order to do any mathematical operation, or you are using you have to use any math function. To be specific, you have to always include the header file of math.h. Here it might be a string length, strlen, string length, and string compare, cm. The string length is nothing but if you take any string, it will count a number of characters. String compare function will compare a one string and other string. So, if you want to use this function in your program, you're supposed to include a math header file. Hash include math.h. I'll just erase this. Three functions you got to know in three header files you got to know in the link section. Documentation section is done. Link section is done. Next section is about a definition section. I'll show you. It is a definition section, which is a third section. In the definition section, I'll explain you with an example. Suppose I want to use a pi. For example, suppose I want to use a pi that's value is a 3.14 in a program. Instead of writing like this, instead of writing pi is equal to 3.14, instead of writing this 10 times, for example, I need to use this value. If it's a 1, you can take it directly. It doesn't matter. If I want to use this pi value 10 times in a program, I can't keep on writing. It will be just waste of time. Instead, what you can do, you can just define. Definition is to define. How I am defining, just you can have a look. Hash define, give one space, give a pi name, however you want to give. Pi is equal to 3.14. This is a definition section. If you want to use the value again and again, many number of times, you can do this. Now I'll be explaining about the next section, that is a global declaration section. In program, we use a two variable, local and a global variable. Local variable, which means it has to be used within the function only. I'll just explain you with an example. For example, I'll just delete this thing. Here, for example, I'll take a void sum int a. A is a variable, int is a data type which I have taken, and outside there will be a main function like this, somewhat like this. If I'm writing a function void sum, and if suppose I'm declaring a variable a which is over here, I cannot use a variable a outside the function sum. I can use it only inside. I can't use the function outside the function sum. I can't use a variable a outside the function sum. Now comes to global variable. You can use it throughout the code. You can use it throughout the code. If you declare outside the main function, then you can use it throughout the program. Global variable, which means you can use it throughout the code. Here, if you declare outside the main function like this, then you can use it throughout the program. So that variable used more than one function. Variable used in more than one function in any program are called global variables. For example, just a second, let me tell you. Let me delete this. Int a void sum void sub. So here I have, like, what do you call, I'm using this variable a. I can use this variable a throughout the function because I'm writing it outside the main function. I hope you got it. So next section is, section is very mandatory. It's a compulsory to write this section. Like earlier, you can't skip this section. Just a second. Here you can see. In program, there can be only one main function. Always control will go to main function when you compile the program. Always the control will go to only main function. As I was telling, next section is about a main function section. I'll just explain you with a small example. Okay. Void main declaration part, executable part. Just I'm writing this to explain. It's not a program or something. Here, this is the code of the main function. Two parts will be there. One is a declaration part and other one is an executable part. Here you can just declaration part and the executable part. So declaration part is nothing but here we just declare the variable. For example, int a, int b or int c, whatever declaring. Executable part, here comes a logic for any program. If it's addition, answer sum is equal to a plus b. Here comes a logic. Here you can see declaration part as I've explained, executable part where comes a logic. Next section is a subprogram section. Here we can have a many user-defined function. User-defined function is function which is defined by a user. For example, here user is me. I can define any function. Generally, all the user-defined function comes after a main function, but it's not compulsory. It can come anywhere. This section is not mandatory. Just a second. Let me explain you with an example. Hash include stdio.h header file, void main. You can take int main also, printf, hello world, get ch. Okay, here to hold the output screen, you can use a getch function. See, here we haven't included a documentation section, which is the first section I explained to you. We have included a link section only, and definition and global declaration section is also not there. There is no subprogram section, which I explained the last. It is not compulsory that you need to include all this section. It's totally up to you which program and how you are writing the program. As I explained it to you, structure of a program, structure which is used to store a collection of different kind of data. It is just a format how you are writing the program in a C. Next comes a C token. C token available here are keywords, constant, strings, operator, special symbol, and identifier. Now we'll discuss about each one of them briefly. First comes a keyword. Keywords are defined as those which have a special meaning. This gives us a definition of some words which will have a special meaning and are predefined in a C library, which will be already defined in a C library, which you cannot reprogram or you cannot rename. You cannot reprogram this or you cannot rename this. For example, it can be a for, I'll just tell you here, I'll just write you. For example, it can be a for, if, else, main. All these are keywords which is already been defined and you cannot rename it or you cannot alter it. Next comes a constant. Constant are also called literals. Here the values are fixed. Once you declare, it cannot be changed. The value, once you declare the value, it cannot be changed. There are few types of constant. I'll just write it over here so that it will be easy for you. Types of constant. First one will be a integer constant. Second one, floating point constant. Thirdly, character constant. Fourth one, string. Fifth one, octal and a hexadecimal constant. These are the 5 types of constant: integer, floating point, character, string, octal, and a hexadecimal constant. Integer constant is nothing but it should be whole number. You can't write like a 15.0 or a 15.3. It should be complete whole number, 1, 2, 3, like that. When it comes to floating point, it can be a decimal point can be included. Character constant in the sense it should be a particular character. It can include a special symbols also. String constant is nothing but something you should enclose within the double quotes. Octal and hexadecimal constant should be an octal or a hexadecimal number to the base 8 and base 6. I'll be explaining this briefly later on, okay? Now comes a strings. Strings are defined as a collection of characters defined in the form of array which always end with the null character, which is the null character is the only special character used in the string. Null character will always define or describe the end of the string to the compiler. Whenever you give a null character, computer will get to know that the string is about to get over or about to end over here. So, string is done, constant is done, and keywords are done. Now, let's go to a special symbols. First, let me delete this. Okay. Next one is a special symbol. Special symbols are the symbols. It can be a single character or a sequence of characters that have a special built-in meaning and cannot be used in identifiers. Example, it can be a modulus symbol. This is a modulus symbol. Modulus symbol used to specify a data type. Next can be a ampersand symbol. Ampersand symbol used in a printf and scanf statement used to locate the address in the program. Later it can be a round braces and a flower braces. These are the special symbols. Okay. Next one is identifiers. Names we declare in order to name a value. For example, I need to name something. So I'm using an identifier over here. Names we declare in order to name a value, variable, function, array, and etc. It's like naming a person. For example, if you want to call a person, you can call him by his name. Same goes here. I'm just naming in order to make my life easier. For example, int x is equal to 10. Next one is an operator. Here there are four types of operator. I'll just type the operator types over here. Operator types. First one is a arithmetic operator. Second one is a increment or a decrement operator. Third one is a assignment operator. Relational operator. Fifth one is five types are there. Logical operator. Okay. So I'll explain this briefly. First one is an arithmetic operator over here. Arithmetic operator used to perform a mathematical calculation like a division, multiplication, addition, subtraction, modulus, these operations. Now I'll show you a basic program to understand arithmetic operation. It can be like this. For example, you are taking int a, comma b. These are the two numbers. Or you can directly take a is equal to 10 over here, comma b will be a 20. So writing int c is equal to a plus b, and you have to print a c. Like this, it will be like this. So arithmetic operation is nothing but you can make addition operation or subtraction, multiplication, whatever it is. Increment, decrement operator. Next one. Increment is used to increase the value of a variable. For example, variable is I am incrementing by I plus plus, like this. Decrement operators are used to decrease the value of a variable. For example, it can be like this. I minus minus, decrementing the value. Next is an assignment operator used to assign a values for the variable. This assignment operator is used to assign the value for a variable. The symbol might be like this, equal to, comma, equal to. You can use anything like this, both of the same. Relational operator defines a relation between the two variables. As name itself indicates, it is used to define the relation between any two variables. Symbol can be like this, lesser than, greater than, lesser than equal to, greater than equal to, and not equal to. All these are the relationship operator or relational operator. Followed by relational operator. Next is logical operator. Logical operator has three types: logical and, logical or, logical not. Three types of operator are there. Next topic is input and output function. As name itself indicate, one is to take a input, one is to give the output, two type of function. So input function is used to write the information, output function is used to read the information. Here input function is always a scanf function, output function is a printf function. These two functions are very important. While writing the program, you will get to know how to use the program and how we are using the program, everything. Next topic is about the preprocessor directives. Preprocessor directives are the lines included in the program that begin with the character hashtag, which makes them a different from other source code blocks. It is a macro processor that is used automatically by a C compiler. This is used to transform your program before actual compilation. The commonly used preprocessor directives are hash include, hash define, hash undefine, and many more. I'll just explain you all this with an example. Okay, first hash include. While explaining the structure of program, I just explained it to you. I'll explain it once again. Hash include. It is used to paste code of a given file into a current file. It is used to define a system define and a user defined header file. There are two ways to use a hash include directive. Two ways. I'll write both the ways over here. One will be like this. Other one is hash include. Within the quotes, you can write a file name like this. Two ways by which you can write a header file. Next will be a hash define. It is used to define a constant or a macro substitution. Syntax for defining a hash define is a hash define token value like this. Next comes a hash undefined. It is used to undefine a constant or a macro defined. It is used to undefine a constant. Whichever is defined, it is earlier which will be some will be a defined, right? Now we are using to undefine the function or a macro defined by a define. You can also undo whatever you have done with undefined. It's basically a undo defining the function. Next, syntax for the undefined is undefined token value like this. Next comes a hash if def. Checks if a macro is defined by hash define or not. It checks whether hash whatever function is defined by a particular function or not. If yes, it executes a code. Otherwise, else code is being executed. Next is a hash if def. No, syntax will be like this of the previous one which I was telling. Hash diff. This is a syntax of hash diff. Macro value suppose because it checks whether it's a true or not. If it's true, it will get executed. Else the else block will get executed. Okay. After that, next function, next what do you call preprocessor directive is a hash end if. It is for the ending the program. One more is a hash if. Here, it evaluates the expression or a condition. If the condition is true, it executes. Else otherwise the else condition or end if condition is being executed. You can write like this: syntax expression, if expression, whatever code segment you are writing. It can be anything. Next will be a end if for ending. I'll explain you one more. Else. This evaluates the expression of the condition if the condition of a if is false. When if gets false, when the condition of if gets false, it comes to a else condition. It can be used with hash if, hash elif, hash if def, and hash if endef. All this, with all this, you can use the else function. Next comes a variables and the constants. So to explain the variables, Here, for example, I'll give you a glass. You will drink the whatever liquid you will be drinking in the glass, right? I'll be asking you, why do you use a glass? It'll be like to drink some water or whatever it is. Here, it's not like you need to drink only water in the glass. You can drink any liquids, milkshakes, cold drink, coffee, anything you can drink over here. You're supposed to drink any liquid, whatever the liquid you can drink through a glass. It's not mandatory that you need to drink a water over here. Same goes with the variables. It's very, see here, glass is like a container which can store any liquid, water, milk, juice. Same way, variable is also like a container which can store anything in the sense it can be a numbers, it can be letters, it can be special character. Variables are like a container which will store some value. These values, whichever you store in a variable or a container, which can be keep on change. You can keep on changing the value whichever you stored. I give you example of glass. And whatever you are storing inside the glass, you can change. First, you will store milk. Later, you can store a cool drinks or a milkshake, whatever it is. Variables are like a storage, data storage location in the computer memory. When a variable is used, it actually refers to an address of the memory where the data is getting stored. Variable name can comprise of a letter, digits, and underscore characters. The first character has to be always an alphabet. There should be no commas or a blank spaces between the variables. These are the rules. First character should be always be alphabet, and there should be no comma or a blank space between the variable name. While you're declaring, there should be a no blank space or a comma. I'll just explain you how to declare a variable with an example. Variable declaration, and in first there will be variable declaration. All the variables that we wish to use in the program need to be always declared. Declaring is nothing but like this. First, let me take a main function. Int a, I'll be declaring the function. Variable declaration is nothing but like this. Initialization is nothing but giving the value to the variable. I want to give the value to the variable. It is nothing but I'm giving the value 10. I'm storing the value 10 in the variable a. There are 5 types of variable which are supported in a C. I'll be writing it first. Later, I'll explain you what are the 5 types of variable. 5 types of variable used in a C. First one is local variable. Second one will be a global variable. Third one, static variable. Fourth one is automatic variable. Fifth one is an external variable. These are the 5 types of variable. First one is a local variable. Any variable that is declared inside a code block or a function that has a scope to that particular block of code. This whatever you're writing, it should be a like it has its value only inside the particular block. If you take that variable outside, it doesn't have any value and the compiler will give the error. For example, I'll show you some example. Just a second. Void alphabet. I'm just taking any name. You can take whatever name you want. It's just a name, nothing else. Int a local underscore variable is equal to a 10. Here I have declared a function by name alphabet and local variable by name local variable and stored a value 10 in it. So I'll be able to access this value of 10 only inside the function alphabet. I cannot take it outside. That is what I meant. Now comes a global variable. It is directly opposite of local variable, and any variable that is declared outside the code block or a function and that has a scope across the entire program and allows any function to change its value. It is declared outside the main function itself always. For example, int global variable is equal to a 10. Later you can give the function as alphabet or whatever you want, like this. Int local variable, always local variable will be present inside, global variable will be outside. So as a definition is equal to a 20, like this. See, global variable will be outside, local variable will be inside. This can be accessed throughout the program. This can be accessed only in the particular function. Third comes a static variable. It is also called a variable declared using the keyword static over here. Static is a keyword. Only difference is static variable is also called as variables declared using the keyword called static. I'll show you over here. As the name itself indicates, it's declared using a keyword called as static. Only difference between the variable and static variable is in the static variable will never allow you to change a value which you have stored. Earlier, if you store a 10, later you can't change the value in the static variable. I'll show you by giving one small example over here. First, I'll declare a function over here. Void alphabet. Think this as a void alphabet is a function. Yeah, you can take static int static variable is equal to 10. You can again take one more variable int local variable is equal to 10. After that, local variable is equal to local variable plus 1. Static variable is equal to static variable plus 1. Later print it, whatever static and local you have, printf %d %d comma x comma y. You can just print it. So the value of the local variable will turn into 11, that is a 10 plus 1. Then when it comes to static variable over here compiler will throw an error saying that the value of the variable cannot be changed. It's totally because of the static keyword, static variable value whichever you have stored cannot be changed. Next, we'll jump into automatic variable. Automatic variable can be declared using a keyword auto. All the variables which we use in the C programming are automatic variable. I'll show you one example. void main function int local variable is equal to a 10. This is automatic default. Later auto int auto is one name, any name you can give is equal to a 20. This is an automatic variable. You can write any one of the above two type. Both are considered to be same. I can either use auto keyword or I can simply declare a variable with the integer data type. Next comes the external variable. External variables are declared by a keyword extern similar to other, which is auto variable. We can share a variable in a multiple C source file by using an external variable. Syntax will be a extern int external any name is equal to whatever value you are giving, like this. And I forgot to tell you about a variable syntax. First write a data type, later give one space and give a variable name, whatever name you want to give. You can give, if you want to assign a value over here, just take equal to and assign the particular value, whichever value you feel like assigning. So we just completed discussing about a variable. Next comes a constants. So as the name itself indicates, you might be knowing about a constant. Identifier whose value cannot be changed are called constant. Variables can change their values, but constant will never change their value. There are three types of constant. First one is integer constant. Second one is floating point constant. And third one is character constant. I'll be explaining you it in the ZNYR.io platform. Let's switch over there. First, I'll be writing the types of constants. First one is an integer constant. Second one is a floating point constant. Third one is a character constant. Three types of constant. And first one, integer constant. When you come to integer constant, integer quantity which contains a sequence of digit is known as an integer constant. There are no decimal point in it. It can be either positive or negative. Blanks and commas are not included. You can't write comma or you can't leave one blank space like that. Its value must lie within the range of its value. For example, a decimal integer which consists of any combination of the digit. For example, for a decimal, its value must range from a 0 to a 9. 0 to a 9. And when it comes to octal, now octal integer, when it comes to octal integer, constant which is a combination of digit from a 0 to a 7. Hexadecimal. Now hexadecimal integer. Over here, hexadecimal integer always begin with the x to x followed by the combination of digit. Here it can be a 0 to a 9 and a to a f. This is a hexadecimal value. Once you keep on practicing, you will go through it properly. Okay, next one is a floating point constant. Floating point constant. These type of constant contain a decimal point or an exponent. Exponent also can be there or a decimal can be. They can either be negative or positive. Commas or blanks are not allowed within a real constant. I'll give you a few examples for the floating point. It can be, now I'll give positive value. 3 point, as it's a floating, I'll take this minus 4 like this. When it comes to, now you can give exponential value also, minus 0.3 exponential to the power of minus 3, like this. However you want, you can give it. Next is a character constant. For a character constant, they consist of a single character which are enclosed within a single quotes. For example, it's a single character. You can take like this B. Later, you can take a at the rate symbol. You can take a single this. You should enclose it within a single quotes. Single character which are enclosed in a single quotes. The characters are stored by using a machine character set using a ASCII code. Constant declaration. The constant can be declared by using the const keyword. Constant, if you want to declare the constant, you can use a const keyword to declare the constant over here. And you can also assign the value accordingly. Const and is equal to, you can assign whatever value you want to assign. Next comes a data type. Data type defines a set of value and the operation that can be performed on them. There are actually four types of data type: basic types, enumerated types, and typeoid and derived type. I'll be explaining this briefly. We'll switch over to a ZNYR.io platform. Yeah, first let me write types of a data type, or I'll just give heading as a data type. First one is a basic type. Second one will be a enumeration type. Enumerated type. Third one will be a type of void. Fourth one will be a derived type. Let's start. So first one will be a basic data type. They are a arithmetic type and are further classified into integer type and a floating point type. Integer data type and floating point data type. Very easy. Enumerated type. They are again arithmetic type and they are used to define a variable and can also assign a certain discrete integer value throughout. Here it's just a type. Here you can assign a value to that. Type void. The type specifier void indicates that no value is available, null. There is if it's a variable, there is nothing allocated to it. It's a blank. Last one will be a derived type. They include a derived type which include a few of the following. I'll just tell you. Derived type include a pointer, array, structure, union, function. So you can, I'll just give comma in between. So these are the derived data type. The array type and the structure types are referred collectively. The type of function specifies the type of function return value. All these few of them will be explained in today's tutorial. With this, let us dive into our next topic, that is a control statement. In C programming language, we use a control statement, which is a very important topic. It enables us to specify a flow of program control. They specify order in which the instruction in a program must be executed. There are a few control statements like if else, if nested if, switch, ternary statements, and a break statement. Let us understand each one in detail. First, let us understand the if control statement. Okay. I'll just write one example over here so that it will be easy for me to explain and even it will be easy for you guys to understand. I'll just write down the code. Header file I have already given. Now I'll give a main function over here, int me. I'm just assigning one integer variable. You can give any name. I'm just giving a number. printf, asking for the input, enter the number, semicolon, scanning the input, scanf, input output function, which I've already explained it to you, %d, as it's an integer, it should be a type specifier, here should be a %d, and ampersand num. If statement, today's topic, if statement, if num mod 2, I'll be explaining it later on. Just a second, let me first complete this. Printf, your number is a %d and it is an even number, comma num, return 0. Okay, so yeah, let us try to execute the program to understand this in a much better way. Okay, I'll just click on run button over here. As you can see, it's giving me error. Let me check what's the error. Okay, the error will be over here. I need to put a double quotes. I put a single quotes. Now let me run and check. It will take a while. Or if it's not taking, you can just give value over here. Okay, maybe it's not taking the input. So let me do one thing. Let me just, instead of taking the input from the user, I'll just give the input from here. And let me check. Here, whatever even or odd number you want to give, I'll give a 10 as this and run the code. You can see your number is 10 and it's an even number. Change it to 3 and check, it's an odd number. So only for the even number I'm getting the output. Whenever it's an odd number, I'm not getting any output. It will come back to the screen. So this is how it works. If condition, which means here I'm checking whether the number is even or not. First I have given the number as 10 or 2, whatever it is. And I'm checking if the number, particular number is divisible by 2, then the output will be an even number, else it will come out of the loop. There will be no output. Now check, number is a 2 and it is an even number. So if condition is basically, it will check whether the condition is true. Here the condition is true or false. It will check if it's a true. Whatever you put inside the if condition will get executed, else it will come out of the loop. Here I'm specifying a variable named integer data type now. Here the condition is checked whether the number is even or not. If it's a even, the number is even is displayed. So you can just put an even number over here and check and try for odd number. The output will not be obtained. Now followed by this, let's discuss if else statement. Only changing here is adding the else block. Condition is checked if the condition is true or false. If condition, if the condition is true, if block is get executed, or else block will get executed. To understand this in better way, let's take an example. Nothing, the change will be here. You have to take a else condition. In the sense, we'll be having the one more thing to execute. Printf, the same thing, you can just copy paste it like this. Let me just show, number is a percentage and it's a it's a odd number. If it's not a even, it's an odd number. Let me run the code. Add a semicolon over here. Run the code. Your number is 2 and it is an even number. Correct. Now I'll give a 7. 7 is an odd number. Let's run the code. Your number is 7 and it is an odd number. What happened here? Did you understand? If condition fails, control directly jumps to a else block and it is executed. Very easy conditional statement. If something is true, this is executed. If it is false, other thing will get executed. Next is a if-else ladder. This is similar to if-else statement. Only difference is it has a multiple else block. Keeps on checking else block. If one fails, whichever else block is true, it gets executed. I'll show you now. Let's write a program again. Okay. So, just a second. I'll take a number as 0 over here. Whatever you want, you can take. Later, after that, take a if number equal to 10. As it is a if else ladder, mini else statement will be there. If number is equal to 10, print something. Whatever you want, you can print. I'll give a number is a 10. Just give a semicolon and come out. After that, go down. Take else if. Okay. Else if when the number equal to 50. Print f number is 50. You can print anything. I'm just telling you this. Next one is else if. See, this is the difference. You can use any else statement. Number equal to 100. Print f number is 100. After this, just close this like this. Later, you can take a one else condition. Else if done, last condition should always be a else condition like this. Take a printf over here. Number is not equal to a whatever number you have given, 10, 50 and 100. It might. Now I have given a 0. So it should be a not equal to. This statement should get executed. You can give a return 0 over here. Now let me run the code and show it to you. Run the code. Number is not equal to 10, 50 and 100. I'll give a number as 100. Number is 100 should get executed. See, number is 100. I hope you understood. It's similar. Nothing will be different. Let us move on to nested if statement now. It comprises of another if statement inside the previous if statement. Nested in the sense it's like a nest. One if inside the other if. Let us understand this with an example. Let me just erase the code whatever is present. Nested if. I'll just write the code first. Okay. I'm just taking the age as a variable. Just give age. I'll just give a age is equal to 23 years old. Later after that, just go to if. If age is lesser than 18. If age is lesser than 18, printf you are minor. You are minor. /n if you need. If you don't want, just proceed like that. Printf display you are minor. Next, and print one more statement also you need. You are not eligible to a work. not eligible to work. Not eligible to work. Now you can take a else statement. Else in the sense it's again the different thing. Here inside the else I'm taking again if. This is a nested if else. Now nested loop. So nested if statement, what I'm doing inside the else, I'm taking one more condition. If age is lesser than 18 is done. Now age should be a greater than equal to 18. And operation in the sense both will be included. And age is lesser than equal to a 60. Here both the condition will get executed. What will happen? Printf, you are eligible to work. You are eligible to work. Close here. Write one more statement if you need. Printf, please fill in your details and apply. Please fill in your details and apply. Like this. So now age is lesser than 18, it's done. Now when age is greater than 18, greater than equal to 18 and lesser than equal to 60. Now beyond 60, 70, 80 people are there now. For them I have to write else condition over here. Else printf, you are too old to work as a government employee. You are too old to work as a government employee. Please collect your pension or something like that. Printf, please collect your pension. You can write anything. Done. So flower bracket close over here. This is for this and this is for this. Last one is for me. Let me run the code. You are eligible to work. Please fill in your detail. Over here you can just give /n everywhere so that it will go to a next line directly. This is a /n is a next line. So I have given a 23. So what will be the output? You are eligible to work. Please fill in your detail. Now let me give my age as a 50. Or no, let me give as a 6 years old. Let me check. You are minor, not eligible to work. Let me give a 68. You are too old to work as a government employee. Please collect your pension. Is it clear? Let us now move to a switch control statement. Switch case is a programming selection statement that checks for the possible match. This matches to the provided condition against available case. It's completely similar to else if ladder. Here we have a multiple cases. Compiler will check for the matches between all the available cases. If any cases match, then the code segment between the particular cases will get executed. If the input doesn't match to any of the available case, there will be default case. It will get executed. Now let me give you an example over here. Very small example I'll take and I'll explain it to you. First let me delete this. Okay. So I'll take one number. Int num is equal to a 2. I'll take a switch. Number plus 2. Open the parenthesis. Case 1. Case 1. Print something. Printf. Case 1. Just printing something, you can print it. value is percentage d, comma, number. Next comes a case 2. Printf. You can just copy paste it, I feel, instead of writing it again and again. Case 2, whatever the value is. Next, again scroll below. Case 3. Like this, whatever it is. Now here 2 plus 2 will be 4, right? 2. 2 plus 2 is how much? It should be 4. Is there any case for the 4 here? It's not there. So I'll just give default case over here. So if the condition or if the case doesn't match, default condition should be executed. It's a mandatory. If the condition matches, it will get executed. Else the default condition will get executed. Value is percentage d, comma, num. Let me run the code now. See, value is 2. Default value will get executed. Now, if I change this to a 1, so 2 plus 1 will be 3. This case should be get executed. See, value case 3 value is 1. Default value is should get. I hope you understood. Is it clear? You can just give backward slash for everything like this. So it will be much more better. Like this. In switch, I gave an expression. You can give a variable also. Here I have given an expression. You can give a variable also. And here you can give the variables. Where number value is 2 and after addition, the expression resulted in 4, right? Since there is no case defined, the value will be a 4. The default case is executed. See here, as I told you. I had taken a 2 over here. Obviously, none of the cases will match. So, default case 2 will get executed. Now at last comes a ternary control statement. It is also called conditional statement. First, I'll write the syntax of the ternary statement. Ternary statement is also called conditional statement. Syntax is nothing but you have to give one variable. Variable is equal to a expression should be given. You have to check whether the expression is true or false. So one question mark will be there. If the expression, just a second, expression 1, ternary because it has a 3 expression. Expression 3. Like this. So I'll just explain you with an example. This is just a syntax for your understanding. I'll just explain it to you properly. Okay, let me take a 2 number. Int m is equal to 5, comma n is equal to a 4. Now I'm checking the condition over here. M is greater than n. M is greater than, and I'm checking this condition. So it should be a question mark. I explained you the syntax, right? It should be a question mark. Next, if the condition is true, expression 2 will get executed. What will get executed? M is greater than a n is a percent d. Percent d is greater than the one more percent d. Here write comma m comma n. Semicolon. Next, if not semicolon, colon, if this first condition get false, This should get executed. I'll just copy paste. Printf n is greater than m. N is greater than m. That is %d is greater than %d. I make it n should be a greater than a m. In my example over here, 5 is greater than the 4. So first statement should get executed. First it will check the condition. If it is true, then the first will get executed. If it is a false, second one will get executed. Let's see by running the code. It's showing the error. Let's see what's the error. Here I missed the semicolon. I'm always missing the semicolon. Don't forget to miss the semicolon over here always. Give the semicolon, run the code. M is greater than a n, 5 is greater than the 4. If you want a comma in between over here, you can give a comma. Same goes with the here also. Just run the code. With the comma, it will get executed. Next is a break control statement. This is designed to exit the control from the current code segment. Code segment when specific condition is satisfied, when the specific condition gets satisfied, then it will get executed, else it will break the statement. If now you will be executing you will check for the condition. If the condition get executed, what happens? It will just stop the code over there and it will break the code and it will come out of the loop. Each and every case in a switch statement will include a break which specifies that if the case is matched, then control flow should exit the switch case and execute the next particular statement. That's what I told. First it will exit, later it will go to a next statement if it is possible. I'll just give you an example now. Just first let me delete this. Okay, let me give one variable a is equal to 10. Later, I'll take a while loop. You can take any loop. I'll take a while loop. For example, I'll check whether the a is greater than the 20. Just a second. While a is greater than the 20. Here a is 10. Whether the a is greater than 20? No, it's a false condition. Let's see what will happen. I'll just take a printf. Value of a is %d /n, comma a. So I'm checking the condition. I'm executing something. I'll just increment the a now over here. I'm just incrementing the a. Later, what happens? I'll just go below. I'll take a if condition like this. If a is greater than 15, I'll check whether the a is greater than 15. If the a is greater, terminate the loop using the break statement. Terminate the loop using the break statement. You can use it anyhow, however you want. Use a return statement over here. Return 0. Run the code. Why you're not getting any output? I'll tell you. Just a second. I just deleted it. I'll just copy paste it. Okay. So here we are checking for the condition whether 10 is lesser than 20. It's true. So once it goes inside the loop, first number 10 will get printed. Then it will get incremented. So now it's 11. So checks whether 11 is greater than 15. So wrong. So it will again go here. It keeps on repeating. When it comes to a 15, 15 is greater than 15. It checks. 15 is not greater than 15. So what happens? It will print till 15. When it comes to a 16, 16 is greater than 15. So it will break the statement. Until it breaks, it will be keep on printing the number 10 to a 15. I'll run the code. You can see 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Till there it is printed. This is all about the conditional statement. With this, let us move on to the next topic, that is loops. Loop control statement in a C are used to perform a looping operation until the given condition is true. Once the condition becomes a false, it will come out of the loop. There are three types of loops in C language: do while loop, and a for loop. These are the three types of, these are the very important concept I'll be explaining by executing the program. How many times you want to repeat, you can specify in the loops over here. Let us jump into the Zenio.io platform. First, I'll be starting with the for loop. Okay. Let me just comment it as a for loop. For loop. Okay. Let me. For loop can be defined as a precise loop which has an initialization, condition, and increment or a decrement operator. Firstly, initialization. It is when you declare the value to variable. Usually, initialization value will be always be 0. Followed by we have a condition. Here you specify the particular number of times or a iteration. For example, if you want to execute a set of statement for 5 times, you have to check whether the condition is a lesser than 5. If you take a variable a, you should check whether the a is lesser than equal to 5. If yes, then execute. Very next step is increment or a decrement. Here the compiler will check whether I have reached the limit or not. It is just to check the limit. Until it reaches the limit, it will be keep on repeating the loop. If the limit is reached, control will exit the loop. If not, it will execute the loop. Let us try with a small example. Give the header file. Hash include stdio.h. Int main. For loop. Int I is equal to 0. I is equal to 0. Semicolon. I is lesser than 5. Later. I plus plus. Without flower braces also it will go. Printf value of I is percent d /n, comma I, semicolon, return 0. Let us just execute and check. Here I'm doing nothing, but I'm just printing the number from 0 to a 4. It will not include a 5 because it's lesser than 5. If you take I is lesser than equal to 5, then the 5 will get executed. Now first what happens, I'll run the code. See, you can see it will print a number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. First, it will print a 0 because 0 is a first number. Later it will check the first, it will I is equal to 0. It will check whether I is less 0 is lesser than 5. Yes, so it will get printed. Now next cursor goes to here. 0 will be incremented to 1. Now it will check the condition whether 1 is lesser than 5. Yes, so it prints. Till 4 it prints. When it comes to 5, condition get false. Cursor control comes out of the loop. This is what happens. Next comes a while loop. It can be a defined. While loop can be defined as a loop which executes itself repeatedly until given Boolean expression or a condition is true. To understand this, let us execute one program now. I'll give while loop over here. Let's see what program will take today. Give one variable int a is equal to a 10. While check the condition, while a is lesser than a 20, check for the condition. Printf value is, or a value of a is %d /n, comma a, semicolon. After it, you need to increment, because here I'm printing the number again. Just run the code. See, it will print the number. It starts with the 10, increments 11, 12 until the condition get false. For example, I'll give here lesser than equal to. So even the 20 will get executes. You can see here. Even the 20 will get executed. So it totally depends on what condition you're giving. So I hope you understood. Next, we'll jump into the similar loop called as do-while loop, which is similar to while loop. Only difference is that condition will be stated at the end of the loop. Here the condition will be here. In the do-while loop, it will be at the end over here. I'll be explaining you with the example. Everything will be same. Over here, condition will be last. So just give as a do while loop. Do, inside the do whatever condition you want, you need to specify like this. Over here, whatever statement you want to execute, here the while loop condition, give the condition. A is lesser than 20, you're checking for the condition. One more thing is always include the semicolon in the do while loop over here. It will print a number from 10 to 19. Do while loop will execute at least once since the condition is checked at the last. It will start from the 10. It will execute. So it will at least execute once. Later it will check over here. So at least one time for sure the condition statement will get executed. First it is incremented and then the condition is checked. First it is incremented. First see here 10 will be printed. Later it get incremented. Now it checks. So from the 11, the condition will get checked. I'll run the code. See, it prints a number from 10 to 19. If you take here is equal to 20, till 20, it will get executed. Let us move on to the next concept called pointers. Pointer in C language are the variable which stores the address of another variable. It can be of a type int, character, array, function, or any other pointer. The pointers in a C language can be declared using the asterisk symbol. Asterisk symbol in the sense star symbol. I'll show you. We'll go to platform. Over here, I'll show you the pointer symbol. I mean int n is equal to, I'll take int n is equal to 10. Just a second. Int n is equal to a 10. Later, I'll take one pointer using asterisk symbol. P is equal to a ampersand n. Like this. Let us assume that you have declared a variable by a name n over here, which is of integer type data. And you have stored some value that is equal to 10. Now, what is happening here? N is pointing to a value which is a 10 and is storing a value in its particular memory location. Storing memory location will be, it's written like this, ampersand symbol of the variable. To declare a pointer variable, you have to use an asterisk symbol which defines that variable you have declared is a pointer variable. Here I have declared a pointer variable called P with the asterisk symbol over here. That makes it as an int p, int star p is equal to address of n. This is nothing but address over here. Before going to program, let us understand few of the advantages of pointer. Pointer make the program very simple and reduce their length. Pointer are helpful in allocation and deallocation of memory. Pointer enhance the execution speed of a program. Pointers are helpful in traversing through arrays and character strings. The strings are also arrays of character terminated by a null character. Pointer in C language are widely used in array functions and a structure. Storage of string through a pointer saves a memory. Save a memory, it will save our execution time as well as compilation time, and it will be mainly used in array structures and functions. Now let us try to execute a simple program to understand it in a better way. I'll just okay. Let me take an array over here. Int first array of a 10 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10 semicolon. I'll write the program first. Pointer is equal to a first array value of just copy this value of ptr normal ptr variable percentage p increment the pointer over here. Let us see this. I have declared an integer type of data type as a first array. Inside the array, I have stored 10 different elements. I have initialized a pointer variable. Pointer variable is pointing towards a memory address of the first variable. Pointer address is pointing first address of the first array. What I am doing is printing every element of a first array. This first array is a whole array. Now I'm just printing every element. Let's execute and see what is the output. You can see the address of the elements which are stored. See, first one will be value of the PTR pointer variable, that is a 1, 2, 3. Everything is given till 10 because here there are 10. Next one will be value of the pointer variable. We don't know what is it. It is an address because here it is pointing towards the address. Pointer is equal to first array I have given. So that's the reason it will just display whatever address it's been stored. Let us understand a next topic now. Next topic will be a function, which is a very important and a crucial topic in a C programming. So what is function? Functions are defined as a subdivided program of a main program. It's a subdivided program of the main program enclosed within a flower bracket you're supposed to enclose. Functions can be called by a main program to implement its functionality. This provides a code reusability. You can reuse it whenever you want. Two types of function are there, library functions and a user defined function. Two types of functions will be there. Let us understand a function in much better way. For example, you have a program which has to add two numbers for a multiple way. Multiple time you need to keep on adding two number. For example, we have to add a two number for a 10 times. So to design this program, we had to create an addition operation for a 10 times. For the first set, if the two number and the second set of two number and so on till 10th set. One time, two time we can do. If we keep on doing for 10 times, the code will be very lengthy. This increases the code length and also increases the compilation time. Instead, you can write a function where you can define the addition operation and you can just pass a value 10 times to the function and operation will get executed. This reduces the code length drastically and also the compilation time will be drastically get reduced. So before going further, I'll just explain you functions, advantages of function. First one is use of function enhances the reusability of a program. Big code is always difficult to read. Breaking the code into smaller function keeps the program organized or easy to understand. The C compiler follows a top-to-down execution, so the control flow can be easily managed in case of function. The control will always come back to the main function. It reduces the complexity of program and gives it a modular structure. In case we need to test only a particular part of program, we will have to run the whole program and figure out the error, which can be quite a complex process. Here, this function makes a life easier. Another advantage here is that a function can be individually tested, which is more convenient than the above mentioned process. Followed by that, we shall discuss how to use a function. There are four different aspects of using the function in the C programming. This might be a quite confusing, but it's a very easy. First, I'll just state you four types of aspect how you can use the function. First one will be function without argument and without return value. Second one will be function without argument and with return value. Third one will be function with argument and without return value. Fourth one will be function with argument and with return value. I'll just execute some example so that you will understand it in much better way. First, function without argument and without return value. In this case, you don't pass any argument to the called function. Similarly, from the function called. So you won't pass any value to the calling function. In the second aspect, function without argument with return value. In this particular type, calling function will not provide any argument to the called function, but the called function will return value to the called function. Third aspect is function with argument and without return value. In this case, calling function will provide some argument to the called function, but called function will not return any value to the calling function. Last aspect will be function with argument and with return value. Over here, what happens? Calling function will provide some argument to the called function as well as called function after executing the result will provide the result to the calling function. Let us try to execute some example to understand. This function can be called in two ways, either by reference or by a value. First, let us execute a call by value. First, let me just see the program. Let me just paste the program. Here, in the example which I'm showing you, here you are calling a function by passing a value. Let us execute the program and see the output. Okay, just a second. Return and 0, there should be a gap. Okay, so this is the program. Here what happens, let us execute first. You can see here. So the value of x before calling the function is 100, and once after the function is being called through a value, some operation have been taken place, and the result has been given by the function to the calling function, and the value of the number has been changed from 100 to 200. Finally, the value of the x is 100 after the function has been called. This was by a value. Now let us try to execute a program based on call by reference. Okay, so as you can see, program is call by reference where the function will be called according to the address of the variable used in the program. Let me execute the program. Okay. So, as you can see, output has been successfully generated and the value have been changed. Here, since the address of the value have been accessed, so if you access the value of the variable through its address, then the value will be changed. This kind of operation is risky. With this, let us move to our next topic, that is escape sequence. Escape sequence is defined as a combination of backward slash and a letter or a digit. We have a new line and a tab space. So this new line and a tab space to provide a new line and a tab space between the obtained output if you are printing an array. There are few examples of escape sequence designed in a C programming language. I'll just type in the what do you call ZNYR.io and I'll show you to you just a second. First, let me just delete it. Just I'll show it to you. These are the few escape sequence. First one will be a alarm. Second one will be a B backspace. Next, it's a F form feed. Just remember it. New line backward slash N. Carriage return. Tab space. And finally, we have two more. Variable tab V. And this is a null operator, as you know. Null. These are about the escape sequence. Now let us move to our last concept, that are arrays, and it's a very important and a very easy concept. Arrays. Okay. So creating an array. Arrays can be used to store a multiple values in a single variable. Instead of declaring a separate variable for each one of them, you can just declare one and store it in that. To declare an array, define the variable type with the square bracket. I'll just show it to you like this. For example, string, it should be written within the square bracket and whatever you want. For example, I'll give a cars over here. We have now declared a variable that holds an array of a string. To insert a value to it, we can use a array literal. Place the values in a comma separated list inside a curly braces. I'll show you. Cars is equal to, take a flower, not enter, okay, take a flower bracket like this. Write whatever you want. For example, I'll be writing Volvo. Car name, that's the reason Volvo. Wait a second. BMW. Ford. And whatever you want, you can just complete it. or semicolon. To create an array of integer, you could write like this. To create an array of integer, int, take an int, give a square bracket and take a my number over here or whatever name. If you want number, just take a number. Take a flower braces 10, 20, 30, 40. How many ever number you need. Accessing the element of an array. You can access an array element by referring to the index number. You have to always refer to the index number, in the sense first number. This statement accesses the value of the first element in the card. For example, here string cards I have given this. So whenever you want to access, you have to give a string of 0 so that Volvo will get executed. Note, always remember array indexes start with the 0. 0 is the first index, this one. 0 will be always be the first index and 1 will be a second index. So on, goes on. So that's it. We discussed many things about the C today. So that's it. We are done with the tutorial. I hope you guys understood the concept of C. This is completely a basics of C programming, which I thought I'll come up with the next topic with the advanced level of C programming. Thank you.